What is pixel art? From what I understand, pixel art is an art piece that is intentionally low quality and is made up of tiny squares. Hi there, my name is Dream Gameplay and welcome to my first YouTube video on this channel. Today is an introduction on what pixel art is from my understanding. Let's go! You see a lot of pixel art in retro games such as Legend of Zelda franchise, Mario, Sonic and Pokemon franchise, on systems such as the NES, Super NES, Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Advance SP, all the consoles. Whereas in the past, it was actually mandatory for images and especially games to be made in this low quality. Before we had these 4K HD smart TVs, we had these small electronic boxes called CRT TVs that could only produce images made out of pixels. If you look really closely at one of these TVs, you can actually see all the individual one by one pixels. Anyway, I digress. Before we jump into all of that, let's cover the basics. This is 1 pixel, and this is all made up into a bigger square known as a tile. Now, 1 pixel is not only made up of just one singular pixel, it can also be made up of 4 smaller pixels within that 1 pixel.
Stay with me, stay with me.
These pixels are made up of these squares and goes up by 8 and are times by 2 every time. For example, 8 times 2 is 16, then 16 times 2 is 32, then 32 times 2 is 64. It can go up in powers of 2 as well, like this: 2 to the power of 3, 2 to the power of 4, 2 to the power of 5, and 2 to the power of 6, aka 2 times 2 times 2. I'm not going to do the whole thing.
I know, it's confusing.
If you truly want to understand pixel art, this is the way to start. I'm no math genius, but when I realised why these things were implemented, I began to understand what pixel art really was about. Now let's apply this theory into a visual representation of character size. Characters, known as sprites, can be made up of 8 pixels to about 100 pixels in size. The higher the pixels go, the better the pixel quality. Did you know that Pac-Man is actually made up of 13 pixels, tall and wide? But wait, didn't you just say—
I know what I said!
Tile sizes are similar to character sprites, but they're not set in stone. The reason for this, I think, is that when you have a certain height for your character and that moves a lot, that's when the rules can be bent a little bit. It's really just a guideline, if I'm honest. Also, for environments, it's much better to have your environment strictly be in the powers of 2. These sizes depend on your canvas size as a whole as well. That's why for a beginner such as myself, and maybe for you as well, it's much better to start off small. I would suggest starting off with a character sprite that is made up of 13 pixels tall and wide. This sizing will help you grasp the concept on how to make your character in these restricted areas and restricted color palette. It may seem boring, but you'll thank me later, trust me. Comment down below what's your top 3 GBA games. Mine are The Incredibles, Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, Witch and a Wardrobe, and The Ant Bully. Well, that's it for this video. I hope this was informative and I hope you stick around for another one of my videos. Next week, I'll be putting pixel theory in visual practice, so stay tuned for that, and I hope you have a good morning, noon and night. And remember—